of my talk is oh, okay, I see. All right. I'm ready to go. Sorry. The title of my talk is Weed Warriors. This is actually a talk that I gave last night in my California Naturalist class. I am taking a California Naturalist class, and I just finished. And I am a certified California Naturalist now. We had our graduation last night. And part of the whole process is you do a capstone project. About the same time that I started doing my course, I also started volunteering for Sacramento Splash. So how many of you are familiar with Sacramento Splash? Just a few of you, okay. Glad to see it's some. So Sacramento Splash is a group that does they kind of do a lot of environmental education for vernal pools at Mather Field, vernal pool area. And so if you can see, I know it's kind of hard to see on here, but the vernal pool landscape is just gorgeous. I love it out there. It's a landscape that you don't see a whole lot of anymore in California. Oh yeah, thank you.
There we go.
Oh, there we go, that's better. Thank you. It's a landscape that we don't see a whole lot of anymore in California because grasslands, flat areas like this, a lot of them have been developed. So and a lot of the Central Valley of California used to have a lot of this kind of landscape. And they're very special. We have, California in general is just so diverse. The vernal pools have a number of endemic wildlife and plant species that you just don't find anywhere else in the world. So a little bit about vernal pools. The way that they are created is you have a restrictive layer. Could be a clay pan or a rock pan, and it sort of disconnects the surface from the groundwater. So in the rainy season, these pools get filled up with water, and they don't drain. They just slowly evaporate throughout the summer. And so with that it's kind of a little bit of a funky ecology. A lot of places, you don't really have that in most places. So the species that we do have in the vernal pools have really specifically evolved for that environment. You have certain plants that come up during certain stages of the evaporation of the pool. So you'll have a ring of a certain kind of plant that came in when it was this high. And then it evaporates a little bit more, and you have a different kind of flower that is right around that. And it's just these concentric circles of different colors. I think it's just gorgeous. And there's wildlife that depends on these pools. So there are a variety of vernal pool, like fairy shrimp, that when it's wet, they're alive and they're swimming around and they're doing their fairy shrimp thing. And then they have, their eggs are cysts. And so they have those, and when it dries up, their cyst lives in the soil, and it just kind of goes dormant. It doesn't come back to life until the next year when it gets wet again. And these things are incredibly resilient. The cysts, they've tried all sorts of things. They've microwaved them, and these things are still viable. I mean, it's just amazing that Mother Nature has come up with it. It just blows my mind. There are even certain plants that are associated with certain solitary bees, and they pollinate those particular plants. And so those bees, their life stage is specifically correlated with that plant. So when that plant comes up, the different concentric circles is about the same time that bee comes out of its burrow and goes and pollinates the plants. And it's just all these really specific levels and interconnectedness that just blows my mind. And I mean, we're losing our vernal pools. We have, it varies, but the estimates vary. I'd say around 10 to 20% of them left in California. Most of the area that used to be vernal pools is shopping malls, freeways, cropland. And depending on how they were developed, sometimes when I'm driving down the Central Valley, I look out at the shopping malls and I wonder, are there little fairy shrimp cysts under there that if they could get wet, they would come back to life? I mean, it just blows my mind to think about that. So, a few of the special species. So all the pictures in this are pictures that I took from being out there and volunteering at the vernal pools. We've got field owls, clover, downingia, and spadefoot. Downingia, and field owls, clover, you only find them in vernal pools. Spadefoot, you only find them in vernal pools too. They're very special species. The problem with these pools is we have a number of invaders. We have non-native species that are coming in that are starting to get pretty close to the pools. We have particularly noxious ones. You know, with California grasslands, so much of it is non-native, but we are really focused in on particularly noxious invasive species like Italian thistle and yellow glandweed. And this apparently is my face when I deal with yellow glandweed and weeds in general. I don't like them. And so it's been really satisfying to go out there and be like, you're not supposed to be here, and I'm going to pull you out, and I'm going to get rid of you, and you're not going to get to the pool. And so Splash has put together this restoration team, and they call us the Weed Warriors, and we get together every other week or so, and we go out and spend 2 hours, and we...
That's one way to do it.
Oh, there it is. Okay. So we came out, and this area right in front of this pool was all yellow glandweed. Like, it was just a field of yellow. We got out there, there's like 15 or 20 of us. We show up, spend 2 hours, it's all gone. It's so fantastic. I love it. And I did a little 3-part thing over here to display how I feel about the Italian thistle. I just grabbed it out and I was like, you're out of here. And I think that's it. It's been a really enjoyable time. I didn't expect to get this into pulling weeds. It doesn't sound fun, but I've really gotten into it. There are times that I'm out there and it's time to go, and I have to look up as I'm walking to the car, because if I look down, I'm just going to be like, I have to get this one, this one, this one, this one. I mean, my backyard, I'm all about pulling out the weeds in my backyard now too. It's been really fun, and I recommend finding something that you can do to help the environment that really just speaks to you.